So if you take a tape measure to a standard doorway, you get about 80 inches of vertical clearance. So if you order a professional 94-inch rigid projection screen, well, the laws of physics dictate it's just going to get stuck on your front porch.
Right, exactly. And that physical bottleneck is exactly why we're looking at a specific piece of commercial AV equipment today.
Yeah, we are unpacking a product listing from HDTVSupply for the Draper. 254207 profile plus fixed frame screen. Welcome to today's deep dive, by the way.
Glad to be here. Our mission today is bypassing all that marketing gloss to see the actual engineering required to get a massive display like this into a room and, decoding some of the hidden risks in the fine print for you.
Because we were talking about 50 by 80 inches of widescreen canvas, to solve that doorway problem, Draper engineers the screen to ship completely unassembled, right?
Yeah, it purposely ships in pieces to easily navigate stairs, elevators, tight corners, all of that. It features a lightweight frame and what they call a sliding hook and loop system for attaching the viewing surface.
Okay, so I'm picturing like industrial Velcro, but how does that actually prevent a giant 94-inch piece of fabric from sagging in the middle? I mean, it sounds like high-stakes IKEA furniture.
It really is high-tech IKEA furniture, but it comes down to dynamic tension. I mean, if you stretch a massive canvas by hand, you inevitably get localized pulling and wrinkles.
Oh, right, like stretching a canvas for painting.
Exactly. A sliding hook and loop system solves this by letting the installer anchor the fabric and then slide those anchor points along the extruded frame.
Okay, so it distributes the tension perfectly across the entire perimeter.
Right, pulling the fabric drum tight.
Yeah.
Because any wave or sag would just completely distort a projected image.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In the listing notes, it comes standard with wall brackets, though if you need to hang it, from the ceiling, you have to specially request flown bracket.
Right, but once it's actually mounted, the real visual draw here is the zero-edge design. The specs mention it uses extruded aluminum baffles to achieve this.
To visualize that, a baffle is essentially a physical shield or lip, right?
Yeah, instead of a thick plastic bezel wrapping around the front like your standard consumer TV, the aluminum baffle sits behind the screen edge, hiding the structural frame from the viewer.
Which is how it achieves that mullionless display, a mullion being the structural divider between windows or screens.
Exactly, because the baffles hide the frame behind the fabric, you have zero separation at the edges, so you can stack multiple screens flush against each other.
To build a massive, seamless video wall.
Yep.
But, that seamless illusion relies entirely on the screen material itself, which actually brings up a huge red flag in this specific listing.
Oh, the spec mystery.
Yes. The main title of the page proudly advertises a matte white XT1000V surface. But if you scroll down to the detailed specification table, it lists the projection surface as gray XH600V with a 0.6 gain.
Those are two completely different things.
Right. I understand white versus gray, but how exactly does a 0.6 gain change the physics of the room?
Well, gain is just a measure of reflectivity. A gain of 1.0 means the screen reflects light equally in all directions.
Like a perfect whiteboard.
Exactly. So a 0.6 gain means the surface is only reflecting 60% of the projector's light back at you. It is actively absorbing the other 40%.
Wait, why would you ever want a screen that intentionally eats 40% of your light?
For contrast, in a room with ambient light, like, say, a corporate boardroom with fluorescent lights, or a church with big windows, a standard white screen gets completely washed out.
Oh, so a gray, low-gain surface absorbs that ambient light.
Right, making the black parts of the image look much deeper. But the necessary trade-off is that you need an incredibly powerful, very expensive projector to overcome that heavy light loss.
Wow. Which makes the contradiction in this listing terrifying. I mean, if you buy a projector calibrated for a bright white screen, but a light-absorbing gray screen shows up at your door, your image will be hopelessly dim.
And because this is commercial AV gear, you cannot just send it back. The terms are buried in the fine print, but they are absolute.
Yeah, this is a special order item that takes 5 to 10 business days just to leave the warehouse.
And more critically, it is strictly non-cancelable, non-returnable, and non-refundable.
For a piece of equipment currently listed at $1,870, down from $2,338 MSRP, a typo in the spec sheet is an expensive disaster.
It really is. Consumer electronics offer a safety net. But commercial AV assumes you are an expert who knows exactly what you are doing, and it penalizes you heavily if you guess wrong.
So if you do not pick up the phone to verify exactly what material is in the box before ordering, you are entirely out of luck.
Absolutely. Upgrading to pro-level gear really means becoming your own logistics coordinator and your own forensic spec checker.
Right. Navigating physical logistics, decoding contradictory specs, accepting unforgiving return policies, it's a lot.
It is.
But seeing how this technology works leaves you with a fascinating question to ponder. As these zero-edge screens become lighter, easier to tension perfectly, and completely seamless to stack together, will the concept of a singular framed TV hanging on a wall eventually disappear entirely?
That's a great point.
Are we moving toward a future where our actual walls secretly double as digital canvases? Something to think about.